Thank you
very much. This issue of conscientious objection is an extremely important issue, and this section is vitally important, and you can see by the number of people who are contributing to the debate how important it is. Doctors' individual rights and beliefs are not absolute. They should not trump the legal rights of the beliefs of others, and certainly should not trump the beliefs of their patients. And that goes for all health professionals, not only doctors, but nurses and midwives and all allied professionals. Doctors do not have an absolute right to object. And this is a central issue. The Medical Council is clear on the issue of conscientious objection, and the Medical Council guidelines have not changed, and I don't believe they are going to change. And they state that a doctor may refuse to provide or take part in a lawful treatment. However, you should inform your patients, and you should inform your colleagues, and you should inform your employer that you have a conscientious objection. You should make sure that your patient's care is not interrupted or impeded. And I think that's very important in relation to the debate tonight. You must make sure that the patients have the right to transfer to another doctor. You must ensure that. And you must give the patient enough information to enable them to transfer to another doctor to get the treatment that they desire. If a patient is unable to make those arrangements themselves, then you should make those arrangements for them. But in an emergency, you must put the priority of the patient above your own and give them all the necessary treatment. So in relation to conscientious objection, the section in the life of pregnancy, the Protection of Life and Pregnancy Bill 2013 is exactly the mirror image of the section that's here in the Health Protection or the Health for Termination of Pregnancy 2018. And it states, a person who has a conscientious objection shall make arrangements for the transfer of care of the pregnant woman concerned, as may be necessary to enable the woman to avail of medical procedures concerned. I am not aware that that has caused any problem in relation to the 2013 Act, and I cannot see how it will cause a problem in relation to the 2018 Act. Thus, the obligations of those who have a conscientious objection to the termination of pregnancy have not changed. What has changed is the fact that termination of pregnancy is going to be provided in Ireland and is no longer going to be transferred to another jurisdiction. And what has also changed is that medical professionals will now have to face this reality in Ireland and work out how best to accommodate this new lawful termination of pregnancy. And this new reality is going to take some time for people to accommodate to, and it's going to take some time for the medical profession to develop the accommodation that this new law is going to introduce. Conscientious objection requirements have not changed. They are not going to change. But the reality of the provision of termination of pregnancy in Ireland is changing, and the medical profession and the nursing profession are going to have to accommodate to that. And I believe the Medical Council guidelines allow them to accommodate. What has changed, as I say, is the termination will now take place in Ireland and not elsewhere. And doctors have to ask themselves the question. They cannot avoid the medical guidelines that are laid down by the Medical Council, as their beliefs do not trump those of the patients to access a legal service. I believe the service eventually will mostly be delivered in clinics and in a hospital environment. Of course, some GPs will provide the service, but I think eventually it's going to be delivered in clinics or in hospitals. GPs are self-employed. They have a contract with the GMS. And the provision of termination of pregnancy services in general practice is going to have a separate contract. It's going to be an opt-in contract. If you wish to provide the services, then you take out the contract. If you don't wish to provide the services, you don't take out the contract. If you're a conscientious objector, you put a notice in your waiting room that you're not participating in the service. You don't have to put on an explanation if you don't want to, but you should inform your patients that you're not participating in the service. But if a patient should seek a service from you, you are obliged to help them, to give them information where they can access the service, be it to direct them to a helpline, to direct them to a HSE website, to direct them to a colleague. But you must provide them with information. And conscientious objection does not absolve you of that requirement. So in relation to general practitioners, they have an opt-in, and the only requirement of them is to provide information. Now, the Minister says arrangements can be accommodated by just providing information. And it will soon become quite obvious to people who is providing the service and who isn't. And people are not going to subject themselves to the humiliation of going into a doctor knowing that he's not going to assist them or help them. But he does have an obligation to provide them with information. However, there is an issue in relation to employees of the HSE. And they are in a slightly different situation because there is the possibility that they could be forced or pressurised to participate or to assist in abortion services. And I think this must be clarified by the Minister. It should not affect their employment, it should not affect their employment prospects, nor should it affect their promotion prospects. So I think the Minister must make it clear that should a conscientious objector be an employee of the HSE, that it will not affect their career in any way. So I think, to go back to my fundamental point, the rights of a doctor do not trump the rights of a patient. The beliefs of a doctor do not trump the beliefs of a patient. You must assist your patient, and I believe the Medical Council conscientious guidelines cover that. Thank you.